Hello and thanks for checking out TheChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. Sign up for a 1-week free trial, no credit card required, for access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hey everyone, checking in on the Canadian MJ sector, and this week we have some action going on. For the two names, WEED and ACB, we are still in clear daily consolidation patterns. And we had APH break from that because of the news that we saw. So APH, the correlation has been broken because of the dollar volume that poured in on the back of that bullish news that we saw. So as where we stand right now, aside from the big three as we know them, which have very often correlated together, right now it's WEED and ACB, and APH is doing its own thing. We're also seeing some of these smaller names, these little laggards, in breakout mode. So what's happening is while we are in consolidation patterns for WEED and ACB, which I'll point out in just a minute, we're seeing money go elsewhere, and it's going into these smaller names, and they're breaking out to all-time highs. As traders, the best case scenario is being in a name that is in an all-time high breakout. So that is why we're seeing money leave to those names. And honestly, there's correlations to this psychology going on in the cryptocurrency space, where we see one cryptocurrency break to all-time highs, we see other names, some money leave those other names, and then everybody flocks to that all-time high to really push that powerful move going. So there's a little bit of that going on in this sector right now. And the weed consolidation pattern is so very clear. I am ready to go all in on multiple accounts if we get a bull break of this pattern on both WEED and ACB. We have our all-time high, low of the pullback, lower high, higher low. This lower high was 2035. We got up to 2019, formed just another lower high, and are now consolidating still. So we're still in this pattern. We were watching this move right here, and the break of 1919 was definitely a bull signal, and we got a nice 5% move from that, but it wasn't enough to break this pattern entirely, and the upper Bollinger Band contained the price, and I actually made a sell this week. I was in WEED, and I sold because of the upper Bollinger Band resistance, and I would have rebought if we broke this 2035 level, but we didn't, so I am back to all cash in this sector. So where we stand right now, you can see the last 2 days of the week, we were very tight. I'm watching support of 1905 and resistance of 2019. If 1905 breaks, we're looking back down to 1813 as the next support level. If we see a bull break of 2019, I fully anticipate that we're likely on our way to a new all-time high. If 2019 and 2035 breaks, I will be very confident that a new all-time high is coming, potentially even before the new year. All depends on when that break does occur, if it does occur. So again, I'm all cash right now because we are in these clear tightening patterns, and we could very easily break bearish as well. So I'm not going to assume that we're going to break bullish. I'm going to wait for that break. I'm going to get in with all the other bulls that recognize that break and get in with momentum and be profitable on the trade instantly, rather than trying to buy in now and then maybe having to sit through a little bit of a pullback if this pattern continues to tighten. So looking at WEED, this is very healthy consolidation on the weekly chart. Still holding exponential moving averages. You could absolutely make the argument that this is a bull flag, which is a continuation pattern, which looks for continuation to higher highs. But until we break at the bare minimum 2019, and to really make me confident 2035, until those levels break, I am not confident that not confident enough to have a position that we're going to head to that all-time high in the near-term future. ACB is in the exact same pattern, except a little bit more clear. Look at the volume continually drop off. That's what we see as a trademark of this equilibrium pattern. All-time high, low of the pullback. $8 is our lower high. Higher low was 631, another lower high at 747, and now we're trading just straight across. Short-term support is 692, followed by 631, and resistance, if we get a break of 747, I'm comfortable enough to get into ACB, looking for a move back to the $8 range. So whoever breaks first is what I'm going to play. If you miss that break, then we can look at the laggard of the other name. If WEED breaks 2019 and we haven't seen ACB break 747 yet, that's a potential laggard play to look for that break to occur. So weekly time frame for ACB, inside bars, we just formed our second inside bar in a row. A break this week of 747 is bullish, and a break of 692 is bearish. Simple as that. That's the range I'm watching. I love these patterns, how clear they are, because the break's going to be that much more clear. And if it's clear for me, I know that it's clear for thousands of other traders, and they're going to act on it as well. APH hit that all-time high on news, and then we consolidated and ran up again on increasing bull volume, hit an all-time high, and of course that's when they dropped the news about some potential dilution coming, which is always negatively received initially. Shouldn't say always, but most of the time. Negatively received initially, but the market can easily recover from that, and we can see that we're building just another higher low base of support. Support is 1410. It's a double low the past 3 days. If I were in this position of APH, which I'm not, I would exit if 1410 broke. If you wanted to get more wiggle room, you would use 14 psychological, because after 1410, the next support is the previous low down at 1287. We haven't established a support below 1410 compared to 1287, so that's too much of a drop that I would want to subject myself to, so that's why that level is important to me. For the bulls to show back up, we need a break of 1464, and then 1518 is that all-time high. Very curious to see if we see a bull break in WEED and APH, or I should say WEED and ACB, if APH is going to follow. I assume it will, and that all-time high is going to be right there, and it's probably going to hit all-time highs first because these names have multiple resistances to get through. 1, 2, 3, really 4 major resistances on WEED before an all-time high, and for ACB we're looking at really 2 major resistances, but APH only has 1 real resistance, and that's the all-time high. Not a whole lot of price action rejecting the price below that all-time high. So definitely keeping an eye on APH. Really, all 3 of the big 3, you're likely going to be fine if you choose one of them on bull breaks of these patterns, but there's definitely going to be someone that's leading the pack, and it's really hard to determine who's that going to be at this point in time. So now the little names that have been running. MJN, bull break to all-time highs on Tuesday, or actually Wednesday was when the all-time high was hit at 530. Healthy consolidation, a double bottom at 472 on Thursday and Friday. If we break 472, we're going to look to test this daily middle Bollinger Band, which is going to be in the 440s next week. And if the bulls break the little lower high pattern of healthy consolidation and break 493, we're looking back up towards that all-time high. Weekly time frame has just been on fire for MJN over the last couple of months, and that's not slowing down. We do have an upper wick of profit taking, but you look at the daily chart for more details about that upper wick, and you can see it's declining volume consolidation after a breakout. Very, very healthy. No red flags whatsoever for the bulls. WMD is also in a very tight pattern that is close to a bull break. We have the all-time high at 250, and a clear higher low pattern as we're approaching it again. Support right now is 227 and 212, and the bulls need to see a break of 248 to get to that all-time high. If we break 248, I would absolutely anticipate an all-time high is coming. The middle Bollinger Band support is catching up, and the weekly time frame broke the inside bar bullish last week, but we are seeing some healthy consolidation. And again, it's a very healthy pattern. As long as these higher lows hold, the bulls have absolutely nothing to worry about. And at this point, because the middle Bollinger Band is in play, it would require a loss of the middle Bollinger Band to see a red flag, pretty much the same as MJN. We held it on the last consolidation, have to lose the middle Bollinger Band for a red flag for the bulls. NXTTF, this is the US ticker version of Namaste, because I cannot chart anything that's not on the Ventures nor TSX. So this is a bull flag on the daily time frame right before the all-time high of 1066. We got up to 101, saw healthy consolidation. We built a base of support at 90 cents, and now the bulls are trying to get back over $1 to head to that all-time high. Break 101 early next week, and we're anticipating a new all-time high next week. And the weekly time frame got that bull break of the inside bar, and we're right there at the all-time high. So in my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, it's actually going to be really interesting, these correlations. Again, the correlations are always shifting. So if we see WEED and ACB break bullish from these tightening patterns, I'm very curious to see if we see some money leave these smaller names to play these bull breaks. If not, if they react in a direct correlation and see bull breaks as well, they're going to be at all-time highs before these other names. We can see both NXTTF and WMD, and there's a bunch of other names that are hovering right under their all-time high. So if we see WEED get a bull break of 2035 to start next week, a lot of these small names could very easily be right at their all-time highs and hitting new blue sky breakouts in that scenario. So it's kind of, as traders, it's a really a first world problem. What a blue sky breakout are you going to play to get the most profit? Because you're going to profit no matter what if these charts all break bullish. The question is just trying to maximize that profit. So a lot of people pick their favorite names they're comfortable with holding. That's perfectly fine. And personally, for me, I will likely, the ACB gains have been, or the volatility gains and losses have been more significant just with this kind of move, you know, where you go from $6.10 to $8 in one day. That's huge percentage-wise. So I'm probably going to be playing ACB for that point alone, just wanting more risk and more reward. But I wouldn't put it past myself to diversify a little bit and maybe put half capital into one, half capital into WEED if they're both making the bull break at the same time. Going to be a pretty interesting week. All week I've just been patiently waiting, anticipating that it would take until next week for these breaks to occur because we could see very clearly these tightening patterns were forming, and I was looking for that rejection from the upper Bollinger Band on WEED to stay in this pattern. So patiently waiting for these bull breaks. No need to try and get in early. I would gladly give up a small amount of reward to eliminate a ton of risk and make sure that I am entering with that bull momentum and to move back towards the all-time highs. Congrats to the players that have been making money in these small names, and certainly lots of opportunities still in this sector as we head into the new year. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.